We interrupt our normal program. Normal broadcasting will now be discontinued for an indefinite period.
This station will continue to stay on the air throughout the alert period to bring you authentic information. Telephone service to your home may be cut off. If you can plug in your radio in the basement, take it with you. Use a portable radio set if you have one.
I read an article about an area on Mount Everest called Rainbow Valley. Apparently, from a distance, the area appears colorful, and the reason is because that's where numerous unsuccessful climbers have died over the years. I guess the colors are all of the red, blue, green, and orange jackets still on the bodies of the deceased. Supposedly, that area is also littered with a lot of frozen garbage, remains of tents, cans, and I guess oxygen tanks. And while reading about Rainbow Valley, I came across a phenomenon called third man factor. I've also heard that it's called third man syndrome. I'm not really sure which term is correct, or maybe they both are. Anyway, there was this explorer, Ernest Shackleton, and in 1915, I think I'm getting my dates correct, I'll have to check that, but he led an expedition to the Antarctic, and during the voyage, their ship, which was called the Endurance, got trapped in ice, and unable to free the ship, the only way to safety was a grueling journey across the glaciers and mountain ranges. And eventually they made their way to a whaling station. But supposedly, one of the things they attributed to their survival was the, I guess, a presence they claim they all felt, which seemed to provide them with direction and hope. And this phenomenon is allegedly experienced by people in survival situations in which a presence intervenes at a critical moment to offer encouragement, guidance, and support. And I guess those who have experienced third man syndrome report feeling a presence despite being alone. I wonder what a loadout for something like Mount Everest, or what the Shackleton explorers deemed was essential for their trek across the Antarctic. I wonder what that looks like. I think I'm in the Mission Dictates gear camp, provided you have a choice, of course. I'm sure for a Mount Everest climb, you would carefully plan your gear, but I don't doubt Shackleton's crew. You know, I'm sure their options were pretty limited to what was on board the Endurance for their trek. But for my hike today, I had the luxury of deciding what to take, although I'm not doing anything challenging like climbing a mountain or a trek through the Antarctic. But after picking the basics, often there isn't a lot of room for large radio gear. And I'll find a spot here in a moment and show you what I'm packing today. It's a little bit windy out here, so if you pick up some noise, apologies for the low quality audio, but it's the best I can do right now. But you know, here's the items I packed for today's loadout, and of course it can change depending on what adventure I'm going on. Today the high is going to be 48 degrees and the low is 16. And one thing about cold weather is it can definitely be hard on your radio gear, and it can affect electronics in a lot of different ways, and some of the most noticeable would be stiffness of buttons, like on this HT here. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of stiffness on your buttons, or the VFO knob. And cold weather can also impact the life of your radio, as well as the performance of such things like your batteries here, or LCD displays. And cold weather can also degrade a battery's efficiency and capacity. But for this hike, I've just got my X5 105 HF radio. I always carry some maps with me, even though I've got GPS, but I don't like to rely on electronics for mapping. I've got a poncho, my antenna kit, first aid, some coax, a little tripod, and I usually put electrical tape on all my connectors, and some water filtration, my little electrical connectors, some wires, and let's see, I also got my compass. I also carry electrical tape with me, a headlamp, and of course water. From what I've read, lithium batteries do seem to perform better than the nickel metal hydride or alkaline batteries in cold weather. But whatever kind of power source you're using, you'll want to consider ways to keep your equipment dry and free of condensation, which can cause corrosion and short circuits. And that's why I've got all my stuff sealed in plastic Ziploc bags. And you know, that does include all of my cables and stuff. Cold weather will make cables stiff and brittle, and that does make them prone to cracking and breaking. I usually use electrical tape, like I mentioned, to protect connectors from moisture. I don't have this wrapped in a plastic bag, as you can see, but that's one thing that I neglected to seal in a bag. But if you notice signs of wear and tear, like cracks or loose connections, frayed wires, or even corroded terminals, burned components, then make sure you place those damaged parts as soon as you can, because it'll definitely affect the performance of your equipment. I also try to avoid exposing my gear to direct sunlight, heat, humidity, or dust for long periods of time. I'll give you a little bit of a view of the terrain. Again, it's a little bit windy, so hopefully the noise isn't too bad. But in conditions where, you know, weather remains at a constant temperature at or below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, you might have issues establishing a good electrical ground. And the reason for that is the conductivity of the frozen ground can sometimes be too low to provide adequate ground wave propagation. And so the use of a counterpoise like the ones I've got here, those will help offset the effects of poor electrical ground conductivity. But anyway, I thought I would just share my loadout, at least the one that I'm using today. Again, it varies depending on what I'm doing. I've got a few extra bags that are a little bit bigger than this one that can hold more stuff. Just depends on what kind of adventure I'm going on. I'm on my way back and I've got everything packed up, but one thing I actually forgot to share with you is usually when I go on hikes out in the middle of the desert, or you know, wherever, I usually take a pistol with me, and I'll show you what I'm carrying. This is my Glock 19 that I usually take with me. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is I see a lot of videos of people out hiking out in the middle of nowhere, and I often wonder if they're carrying or not, but I usually do because, you know, there's critters out here. You never know. But anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.